Kaen! Dream Vegas!
Unlike what most movies and series tell you, you can get post-traumatic stress disorder without going to war. All you need is a very traumatic or violent event to happen in front of you. In real life, you can't get it on Twitter. Just saying. The episode begins where the last ended, Brain approaching Go, ready to prey on his weaknesses, but apparently Mac doesn't want to hear any of it. He transforms and attacks the Enforcer. But an image on Brain's iPad causes Go to freeze just as he's about to deliver the final blow. The next morning, the SCU is discussing a series of bank robbings where, each time, there's been a victim. A fourth is in progress as they speak. This time, though, security manages to subdue the criminal, who is, of course, really a hybrid Rodmute, one who is a master of keys.
Zool, motherfucker, Zool!
Kyosuke and the shift cars arrive in time to prevent another victim, but this is a hard opponent for Shinosuke, especially because he seems to have become selectively stupid. In the end, he escapes, since Drive has to prevent a girl from dying from balloons. Yes, balloons. One exploded and made her faint and almost tumble down a set of stairs. And what a shame, since this Negishi man is the guy who killed Tomari's father 12 years before. That's what he was in jail for. Which of course Captain Asshole has to rub in. Where's a random bolt of lightning when you need one? But thanks to their own captain, they managed to get on the investigation anyway, as delivery boys and interns. We get a flashback and discover that Tomari's father died protecting a little girl from Negishi and his accomplice, or at least that's the official report. There are details about the incident that were never cleared, and the SCU suspects 001 was involved. Speaking of the leader Mude, he's in the police station. He crosses paths with Tomari and compliments him for his good work. Moving to the Rod Mudes, Hart has noticed that Brain has distanced himself and tries to repair that bridge, but Brain is unwilling to be by his side while Medic also is there, and Hart can't understand why. They're both Rod Mudes, aren't they? They should be able to get along perfectly. Then, Shinosuke makes an important discovery. Negishi isn't attacking banks for the money, but for the murders. All the victims are people who worked at the bank where he was captured. And most importantly, it's not a coincidence that Negishi was broken out. Brain and 001 want him to clean up all witnesses. It's not exactly a well-hidden connection. How did the entire First Division ignore it? Anyway, Shinosuke decides to dig deeper, and once he realizes that the girl he saved was also in the bank 12 years before, he decides to pay her a visit. The girl is recovering in the hospital, but since she's clearly suffering from PTSD because of that day, it doesn't go that well. But fortunately, Gen manages to track Negishi's old accomplice down, and according to the man, the now killer didn't kill Tomari's dad. This is weird because 1. He can't prove it, but he has a feeling about it. 2. In the trial, Maruya testified the exact opposite. Someone probably did something to his memories. And speaking of which, Chase's shift car is now complete. It can be used as a weapon again, and there is the chance it may give Chase's passes proto drive back. In the meanwhile, she also confirms someone did something to Maruya. 1. Because he admits that his memories are fuzzy. 2. Because that's one ugly looking scar! Shaped like a snowflake, Tomari's father had the exact same scar in the exact same point the day he died. Can't be a coincidence, especially since Negishi is after Maruya too. Also, this place looks a lot like the one from the first episode of Gaim. Anyway, the driven Tomari is pretty much overwhelming his opponent. Chase has nothing to do but stand around, wondering about the bonds of family that seem to give Go so much grief. And speak of the devil, he shall appear, accompanied by Brain, and the first thing he does is attack Shinosuke. Suffice to say, this sends Shinosuke and Kiriko for a spin. Chase hasn't really got any qualms about kicking Go's ass, but in front of Kiriko, yeah. In the end, Tomari ends up fighting against Go seriously and forget about Maruya. Thank God for Chase, once again. He protects the ex-con and gives Shinosuke his wake-up call. They retreat to protect the bystanders. The following day and episode, we see that Heart and Medic are in the dark about what happened with Go as well. And Shinosuke decides to let Chase know about his father, but turns into a conversation about family that further confuses the OG drive. But Maruya, thanks to the events of the previous day, has now remembered something. During the robbery of 12 years before, he experienced slowdown, and Chase confirms that 001 is rumored to be able to rewrite memories leaving behind the snowflake scar. By all of this, it's clear that 001 is trying to protect some kind of secret pertaining to his persona. Also, Tomari remembers that Yukari, the balloon girl, didn't have a scar, so she may remember what 001 is trying to protect so hard. Kiriko and Tomari head to Yukari again, with Kiriko being pretty passionate in her interrogation. In the meanwhile, Chase is confronted by Go because the Shinigami wants to look behind his ear. Yeah, that sounds weird when said it out loud, and Go obviously refuses, and it turns into another battle. At the hospital, Tomari stops Kiriko since her mother was just standing around. Okay, she's worried about Go and he wants to know the truth, but pressuring someone this much isn't exactly a good way to go about it. Back at the battle, the brawl continues until we see something majestic. Chaser's very first Rider kick, which earns him victory and a confirmation. Go has the scar as well. He departs, but Go taunts him. He's going to keep on coming back for him. But Chase, while not an expert on family yet, understands that killing him would greatly upset Kiriko, and that's something he, unlike Go, really doesn't want to do. And back at the SCU, colorful commercial keeps on being useful and making appearances. At the hospital, we see from the TV that 001 is doing his best to build up Tomari. Also, Yukari's mother confesses to Shinosuke that Yukari is the girl his father died saving, and a bit more protecting is now in order since Zul found Yukari. Why doesn't Shinosuke stuff her inside Tridoron to get her away as fast as possible? I don't know. All I know is that Shinosuke obviously takes a blow to the back to protect Yukari just like his father did long ago. Obvious plot devices, guys. Obvious plot devices. Chase arrives just in time to bleed inside this son of a gun while Tomari recovers, and then we have a battle that I'd call sometimes they come back, since Tomari uses some of the less used shift cars in the series. But for such a silly power, Negishi can use it pretty well. Still, once Drive and Chaser start fighting together, it's the end of the line for Zul! They destroy the Rodmute and capture Negishi, who, after all, may have really been innocent of that murder. And speaking of innocence, Chase decides that, in order for Kiriko to not worry about Go, the best course of action is to tell her that he's trying to kill both him and Shinosuke out of his own free will. Yeah, that makes as much sense to you as it does to me. Just as much sense as Kiriko being comforted by that is too. Well, I guess she trusts her brother, but... oh well, she ends Chase's shift car while Yukari is finally comfortable enough to talk to Tomari about the incident. And wouldn't you know, 001 was at the scene of the crime. Yukari saw him just after Tomari's father got shot. Also, wouldn't you know, again... I have to stop repeating myself. Anyway, among the things Chase remembers is 001's face, just before he, Brain and Heart started Frankensteining him up. The enemy's secret identity is finally revealed. Now the question is, what will our heroes do with this information? Nice to partner, even if the enemy was not exactly threatening. I mean, it could have been. If JoJo's Bizarre Adventure taught me anything, is that no power is without the potential to horribly murder people if there is two behind it. That was the problem of today's villain, no two about it. The most inventive thing they did with its power was the Rider's ping ball at the end of episode 29. A shame because they put a lot of thought into everything else. I can't remember the last time I had someone treat a post-traumatic stress disorder this well. Hell, I can't remember people ever showing post-traumatic stress disorder if it wasn't on a soldier or such. You can't catch it from Twitter messages, unlike some social justice warriors would like you to believe, but having someone get shot for you in front of you while you're a small child, yeah, that's a winner. The first fight scene was a bit meh, but the others picked up more than nicely, and one can't help but wonder why Tomari's dad had to die? The scar means his memories were altered after all. What was so secret he had to die? Maybe the brainwashing didn't work on him? What was wrong with it? It sure did work on Go, and thinking about it, I can maybe understand why Chase chose to not tell Kiriko. She rushed ahead without thinking about it that much once already after all. If she knew that Go had been brainwashed by 001, what do you think she would do? So, until they can find a way to reverse it, it's more merciful to let her think he is still in his right mind. And speaking of secrets, it seems that at least at the beginning, 001 worked with the Enforcers. What split them up? And exactly why did Tomari's father have to die? Him out of everyone else involved in that shenanigan. Why was 001 in a bank? Well, that's probably going to take a while to discover, or maybe they'll tell us only to make the good guys forget that that's already happened a few times in Kamen Rider. Let's hope not. Well, that's it for this episode, Rider fans. What did you think? Agree? Disagree? Did you get the Zool motherfucker joke? Let me know in the comments on my personal site or one of my social media accounts. Leave a like and a subscribe, and as always, Johnny!